Welcome to the F1 Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two Formula One nerds. I'm your host, Rosa.
And I'm your In the Navy host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the 1979 season, part 3. So let's go.
In the Navy, is that the song I think it is?
It is. And you know who sings this one. No.
Is it the Village People?
Yeah, of course, yes. I was about to get upset then. And the motivation for this song, obviously the song was released in 79, but we're heading to the United States, Long Beach. Now, I associate Village People with the United States, of course.
Okay. I thought it was because of the navy of the Ligier team, the blue. Oh, they're not navy though, are they?
Navy's like a darker blue. Theirs is like
a dark blue.
There's like mid blue.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah, United States.
Yes. So it's at Long Beach. It's on April the 8th, 80.5 laps, which may play a part in this. We'll find out. And the weather is warm and sunny. So, yeah, the first practice of this race was an untimed session, and it was actually quite eventful as the track was demanding as ever with its bumps, change of surfaces, twists and turns, and steep hills.
Even Villeneuve spun off, taking a corner too fast and crashed into the barriers, ending his session. Then Scheckter crashed into the back of Pironi's Tyrrell.
Those Ferrari mechanics, I mean, they're happy because they just got a 1-2 last race, but they're going to be busy. But everyone is out for the first time session, even if it was in their main car or their spare cars. A lot of them had spare cars in this time.
Yeah, there are a lot of spare car action. I don't really focus on it, but there's a lot of spare cars being used. Reutemann was having a great time in the Lotus 79 here, and he set the time to be at 1 minute 18.88 seconds.
He still doesn't realise that Lotus is not great, does he?
No. Maybe that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's good to not know sometimes. But
that's right.
But anyway, the Ferrari outfit was trying out new aerofoils, but Villeneuve went out in the old setup and simply just grabbed pole with the time of 1 minute 18.82.
Reutemann kept second, then Scheckter in the other Ferrari followed, and then Depailler, Ligier, Lafitte Ligier, and Andretti Lotus, who was half a second off the pace of pole time.
Yeah, not normal.
Lotus is getting overtaken.
But Andretti's a good driver, so it's unusual to see him down there, and being beaten by Reutemann as well, to be honest. But that's just this qualifying. So on to race day, and the best way of putting it is, what a mess.
Great.
So firstly, Arnoux Renault suffered a broken universal joint, leading to him being withdrawn from the race. Lafitte's Ligier seized, and he had to start from the pits. Remember, he was like, 5th or 4th? And Reutemann's Lotus died on the warm-up lap and had to be towed to the pit. So this is before the race started.
Wow. So Reutemann's Lotus was an electrical fault and was easily fixed. So he was all good for taking his pole position on the grid, while the rest were held on the dummy grid. But
I was just checking. Was he pole position or was he second? But anyway, what happened? What happened, Rosa?
Reutemann was second, yes, but he could take his place behind pole position on the grid.
Oh, yes. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Got it? Sorry, I missed out that word. So the organisers informed Reutemann that he would have to wait until the field had passed the pits on the opening lap of the race before he could start the race. So effectively penalising him half a lap.
That was for him getting that push start, right? Because his engine died on the warm-up lap.
His engine died on the warm-up lap. That's right. Yes.
I guess Reutemann was the cause of the last fight, remember?
Yeah. This is an overcorrection, or is it a correction? Like, is it the right response, or
versus letting him off the hook like they did last time?
Yeah, or is it an overcorrection? Like, have they gone too far this time? I mean, it was just the warm-up lap, but I don't know. That other one was What did he do? He actually during the race, during the opening, wasn't it? Yeah, it was during the race.
It was.
It was the first lap.
Was it the formation lap?
Might have been the formation lap,
which makes a bit of a difference. But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Mood is very sensitive right now. Let's see how it goes, shall we? So things do get worse. So that's what I mean by it gets messy. Firstly, as Villeneuve led them around the grid proper, so that's the formation lap, I guess. Reutemann forced his way out of the pit lane, I don't know how, and was trailing. He was trailing behind the field, so obviously trying to make up to where he should have been on the grid, which I think you said Rose was second.
Yep. So much for following the rules, Reutemann. Jeepers.
Yeah. And then secondly, then Villeneuve overshot the start line. I don't quite understand. Does that mean he went to get his pole position, but he went a bit over the line? Yeah,
yes.
like maybe half a metre or 10 centimetres or something. So I had to lead them all around again. So, I mean, remember, this is the era. You have to remember, this is the era where there's no officials that can say,
no,
do another lap. He just, as the pole person, he just did another lap because he overstepped his. Do you get what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah,
itself,
I know,
right?
but didn't he have a reverse gear? Like, why didn't he just stop and reverse back into it?
And the thing that makes it funnier is not only did he lead them all around again, but apparently Depailler was encouraging him on. So what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? It's like, is he doing a forward wave to him? I don't get it, but it's very funny.
So both Reutemann and Villeneuve were fined 10,000 Swiss francs. So the other one was 3,000 Swiss francs, and it was about $8,000. So 10,000, it's going to be about 25,000 or something.
Yeah, US dollars.
Yeah, US.
Still nothing money, but I mean, I don't want to pay 25,000 US fine, but these guys are earning. You'd hope they're earning a lot more than that.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, but the fines is more symbolic than the money, as we'll find out as this whole war goes on between FOCA, FISA, and FIA. So that's not the mayhem, though. That's not the end of it.
It's not. Oh no,
no, because on the second warm up lap that Villeneuve was tricked into doing by Depailler. Lafitte's rear wheels locked up and sent him sideways. Lafitte, who won the first two races of the season, blocking the track for the rest of the field behind him. Now, he qualified fourth or fifth, so that's a lot of drivers.
That's a lot of drivers. So only Villeneuve, Scheckter, Depailler and Andretti made it to their start positions because obviously they were ahead of Lafitte.
Yeah.
And the rest of the field had to wait for the Ligier to be cleared before they could take up their positions.
The race hasn't even started, remember? So then the first four went out again and got caught up behind the pack because they were the ones that couldn't get past the Ligier quickly.
So hang on a minute, hang on. You're saying that they didn't just stop on their marks, they went round again?
I think so. Let's just go with it, right? So they went around again and They must have, because how else can they get around? So, and they caught up to the back of the pack and then had to weave their way through to get back to their start positions, obviously when the Ligier of Lafitte was cleared.
So while all of this took place, Reutemann was ushered back to the pits. Remember, he had to start from the pits to join Lafitte in the spare Ligier, and were told they couldn't start until the field had gone past the pit lane. So that's at half a lap again.
Yeah. So, well, at least they stuck to their guns in terms of, after this confusion, Villeneuve did eventually start them off, smoothly taking advantage of his first ever pole position and to take an immediate lead. Poor Villeneuve, he's in pole position. He's dealing with all this complexity, and he did well to not get confused. And what do I do now?
Well, he let Depailler force him into a second warm-up lap, though. Come on.
Yeah.
So Scheckter in the spare Ferrari with the new aerofoil setup also got off to a good start, and he took up second place with Depailler close behind in third.
Scheckter tried to run around the outside of his teammate at the first corner, but Villeneuve shut him out and Scheckter ended up third behind Depailler, who'd elbowed past him and running over the Ferrari's nose, as in Schecter's nose, for good measure as well.
So when they went past the pits, it was Villeneuve leading from Depailler, Scheckter third, followed by Andretti in fourth, and Hunt in the Wolf in fifth, Jarrier sixth in the Tyrrell, with Patrese seventh in the Arrows. Jones is eighth in the Williams, and Piquet ninth in the Brabham.
I think it's the first time we've mentioned Jones, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
So that Williams has been. I think the new Williams hasn't come out yet, and they're still
in the six. Yes.
Yeah. So it was at this point that Reutemann and Lafitte were allowed to join the race.
Wow. Hunt's drive shaft then broke, ending his race, and a few backmarkers also retired, pushing Reutemann little up the field.
Up front, Villeneuve pulled away from Depailler, but he was in a fierce battle for second, as Scheckter was all over the back of him. His nose must have been not too badly damaged.
No, if he's fighting for second and third there. Jarrier, meanwhile, had repassed Andretti and was moving right in on Scheckter, finally getting past the Ferrari on lap 8. So maybe the nose cone's not doing too good.
Yeah, he was on a real charge, because Jarrier then overtook Depailler on the very next lap, because Depailler was having some brake troubles, and Depailler fell back to fourth, which actually essentially gave Scheckter third as well.
Jones, meanwhile, in that Williams, had passed Patrese and before long was right on the heels of Andretti's Lotus.
So we're talking about Jones. Should we do a little bit of a blurb about Jones at the end of this race? Because I think he probably deserves a bit of a spotlight, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to do it now, but if you want to do it at the end, that's okay. We can do it at the end.
Okay, let's do it at the end, I think. Yeah, let's see. Because I think he's Aussie. I mean, our listeners are mainly not from Australia, which we appreciate. Thank you, everyone. But we'll talk about it because we just have to, because he's one of ours. So off you go, Rosa.
So on lap 27, Jarrier, under constant pressure from Scheckter, started having severe tyre vibrations and couldn't hold the Ferrari off any longer, and so slipped down to third place.
So the nose is back good again, maybe. The nose fixed itself. So Scheckter pulled away from the Tyrrell, but couldn't make any impression on his teammate, who was now 15 seconds clear up the road, and he was driving as smoothly as ever. And he was also on the same soft Michelin tyres as his partner. So those Michelins are coming good.
And Jarrier fell back and was now being hassled by Depailler, Andretti and Jones for third place.
On lap 37, Andretti made it past Depailler but swapped back on the following lap. Jones then came in and got past Andretti to take fifth.
Meanwhile, Jarrier's tyre vibrations were getting worse, and on lap 46, he eventually fell back behind Depailler, Jones and Andretti, going into the pits for new tyres.
So with 20 laps to go, the two leading Ferraris were well over 20 seconds apart and seemed to be cruising around the track. So all attention was on Depailler, Jones and Andretti for third place. That was the battle, I guess.
Jones was worrying Depailler, and on lap 62, whilst lapping tail enders, Jones seized the opportunity to slip past ahead of him.
Yes, shortly after, Depailler lost the use of his fourth gear and was left to concentrate on holding off Andretti. But with 5 laps remaining, Andretti overtook him under brake.
So the race finished with Villeneuve first, Scheckter second, Jones third, Andretti fourth, and Depailler fifth.
So that's Villeneuve's second win in a row, and well over half a minute ahead of his teammate, and a second 1-2 for Ferrari in a row too. So Ligier didn't do 1-2s both times. They had a 1-2 and a 1-3 or 1-4. But that Ferrari 312 T4 is proving to be a pretty powerful, reliable car. Pretty good combination.
Yep. Power and reliability, very important in F1.
Yeah.
So a week after Long Beach, at the Race of Champions at Brands Hatch, Jules Villeneuve won that race again. So he's just consolidating, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And Jones got third. So should we talk about Jones? I mean, we've talked about Jones before. Like he had that big surprise win in that shadow a couple of years ago,
yes.
remember? But we probably didn't talk about his history much.
No, we didn't really introduce him as a up and coming kind of, driver. But he's been around a while. Anyway, let's go through his thing a little bit. So he's the son of Stan Jones, an Australian racing driver and winner of the 1959 Australian Grand Prix. So Alan wanted to follow in the footsteps of his dad.
Yeah, he worked at his father's Holden dealership. Holden is a brand owned by General Motors, an American company, while he was racing a Mini and a Cooper. I used to have a Mini Cooper S. They are a lot of fun. They're like little go-karts on the road.
Right. So he left for Europe in 1967. So remember here, we're in 1979. To make a name for himself, but he found out that he could not even afford a Formula Ford drive.
I mean, Australia's not a big country with big sponsors that could fund him, but he persisted and he eventually had his first F1 race at the 75 Spanish Grand Prix as a privateer in a purchased Hesketh.
That weekend turned out to be one of the most tragic in Formula One when Rolf Stommelin's crash caused the death of 5 spectators.
Yeah, not the best debut. I remember
not a good debut.
I recall mentioning that it was Alan Jones' debut, but it wasn't. We were focused and distracted by other things, unfortunately.
That's right.
So, then he joined Graham Hill's team as a replacement for the injured Stommelin. And he had his best finish with Hill at that time, with a 5th at Nürburgring. Now, that's tough to get the top 5 in this era, because these cars were tough to get points. It was tough to get points when only the top 6 gets points.
Especially at the Nürburgring. I mean, we're not even racing there anymore. So Jones earned his first full-time Formula One drive in 76 in John Surtees's team.
Yeah, I like the fact that the thing I call out about this was it was famous for its Durex sponsorship. And for those of you that may or may not know what Durex is a condom.
Prophylactic? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a condom. So the BBC actually refused to cover Formula One races during that season, which is very funny.
That's hilarious. That's very funny. So he managed a 4th place in Japan for the final race of the season, and that was the best he could do for the Surtees team.
And the next thing he did in 77, I was quite impressed. He refused to drive for Surtees in 77 because he preferred to sit out a season than continue with the team. That's confidence.
That is.
You know what I mean? He wasn't an established star by any means. So it's saying a lot about that Surtees team, isn't it?
That's right. So he was signed by the Shadow team as a replacement for Tom Price, who had been killed in a freak accident in South Africa.
And this is that big sliding doors moment, and this happens all the time in Formula One. I just wish it wasn't to do with deaths.
No,
Yes. But he made the most of that opportunity, and that's what I was referring to. He actually won a race. He won the Austrian Grand Prix in that car. It was a real out of the blue win, and it basically propelled him to being recognised as a potential star.
Well, he finished 7th in the championship with 22 points that year. And by late 77, he had caught the attention of Frank Williams as well as Enzo Ferrari.
Jones even met with Ferrari at Maranello. But in the end, Gilles got the drive. So obviously, Enzo Ferrari, we talked about Elio De Angelis and Villeneuve.
Yeah. So Williams, struggling for success in its first years, restarted his team in 77, and Jones was given the trust to get them their first success.
Yeah, and I mean, Jones was recognised by his peers as aggressive and intense. Prost used the words describing Jones, fiery, powerful, and even violent as a driver.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's pretty full on, isn't it?
He
was known for his relentless pursuit of victory, rarely settling for less than his best, and frequently engaging in hard, close quarters combat. So I like him. He sounds like my sort of driver.
Me too. Oh, really, Luigi? Okay, I'll remind you of that soon. He was a no-nonsense competitor. He was straightforward, tough, and he was described as having a gunslinger approach, preferring to tackle challenges directly rather than through finesse.
That's how I do my job. For those people that work with me in a professional setting, they're saying that's Luigi right there. He also famously stated that he took it personally if another driver passed him.
Wow.
I get that.
Wow.
When I'm doing fun go-karting,
no.
I'm like, how dare you pass me? How dare you?
Yeah, he sounds a lot like Jack Brabham, doesn't he? Tough, uncompromising. Remember Jack had that nickname Blackjack, referring to how ruthless and tough he was on the racetrack?
Yeah. We've sort of got one Australian driver now. We had two recently. It hasn't really flowed through, has it? Like,
no.
Daniel Ricciardo was not really like that. Mark Webber was definitely not like that. Oscar Piastri has at times done some pretty impressive passes, but not the aggression.
No, I can't see that. Like, we can't call it the Australian characteristic, can we? Because we haven't really seen that carry through aside from Brabham and Jones. But maybe it's also the era, Luigi. Do you reckon?
I think if you drive like that now, you go slower.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have to drive smooth and smart.
That's right. So, So maybe Oscar is a bit more uncompromising and ruthless in the types of moves that he puts on the track. Don't know that Ricciardo was ever like that. Weber probably a little bit too, I'm going to say.
Less like that.
Yeah, less. Anyway.
Yeah. Ricciardo was known for his amazing late braking moves. But the wheel-to-wheel is the thing I think they're referring to mainly.
Yeah, okay.
And in this era, there's a lot more wheel-to-wheel than we have today.
Yeah, than we have today. All right. Well, that's an introduction to Alan Jones. So there you go. Now, have I talked about okay, so at the end of this race 4, we have Gilles Villeneuve in the lead of the championship on 20 points. Lafitte hanging in there. He hasn't moved. He's still on 18 points.
Yeah.
Scheckter in third on 13 points and Reutemann in fourth on 12. And in the constructors, we've got Ferrari in the lead on 33, ahead of Ligier on 29, ahead of Lotus on 20.
I wonder what Ligier team are thinking. They won the first 2 races and they've had all these retirements and issues, and it's like, what if they rested on their laurels and said, we got this, and then they discovered we don't got this.
And then they don't. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so up to race 5 of 15, the Spanish Grand Prix. It's at Jarama, April 29, 75 laps, and the weather was cool and dry. So we still look to have a fight between Ligier and Ferrari because they look like the 2 teams of the season so far. And let's see who comes out on top. We've had a 3-week break since the last race, and 3 teams brought completely new cars.
Lotus debuted their Lotus 80, much to your disappointment now, Luigi, because we're out of alignment.
Yeah.
Renault gave Jabouillet the new RS10, and Williams
the ground effect turbo.
The ground effect, the ground effect turbo, twin turbo, I think. And Williams had the FW07s for both Jones and Regazzoni.
Just in time for maybe a change in form for these teams. Let's see. So the untimed session started. The untimed sessions that were started at the last race at Long Beach proved so popular that the organisers decided to dump the old system and adopt a new one from now on.
So a couple of untimed sessions started the Friday afternoon, sort of like what we have today now, Louis, where we've got practice, and then qualifying. So, they've sort of started with some untimed practice sessions. Yeah.
So it was actually Ferrari who set the pace, getting around the quickest, with times around the 1 minute 15 mark in the time sessions. But then Ligier came out and blitzed those times with 1 minute 14 by Saturday. So Ferrari and Ligier at it head to head.
So Lafitte set pole ultimately with a time of 1 minute 14.5. Depailler second, only 0.29 seconds behind. Then Villeneuve came in third, also getting below the 1 minute 15 mark. And fourth was Andretti in the Lotus 80 with 1 minute 15.07.
Yeah, it's still they must have been confused. It is a great car, you know. You can't expect the car to be on pole first time out, right? So you'd call that a win so far. For
Yes, you
Lotus,
would.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yep, for
Scheckter was
Lotus.
fifth. Yeah, Scheckter was fifth in the other Ferrari, and then Brabham was sixth, with Lauda in seventh, followed by PK and Reutemann.
Reutemann was in the 79 though. He was yeah. So far they're thinking, wow, this 80 is great. The
Yeah,
79's crap.
yeah.
Okay, just a note on Hunt. He was having a terrible time with the Wolf, having had to switch to the spare after his car was down on power and understeering, only to find the spare worse. I think we've got
He's
to
not.
stop and talk about Hunt. Yeah.
He's not having a great year, is he?
No. So he moved from 3 years at McLaren to Wolf. Why? Why would he do that, Louis?
Well, don't forget Wolf when Scheckter made his debut with Wolf. Was that in '77? They won the first two races. Remember that?
Yeah. And then did
Yeah,
nothing though.
yeah. I guess he was blinded by Scheckter won the first race of '77 in that Wolf. This is
Mm,
'79. You wouldn't think a team would go backwards
no.
or as dramatically backwards as Wolf did. And just to remind everyone, Walter Wolf was the founder. I would say, okay, we're recording this in 2026. It's like the Aston Martin of 2026. It's like a rich benefactor, deep pockets,
Mm,
running his own
mm,
team, won his
yeah.
debut race,
Yeah.
and he is floundering.
And they did get what did I say? He was the designer of this car, Postlethwaite.
Oh,
So he was a good, like he designed some pretty strong cars in his time.
yeah,
So I don't know, was it the money that lured him? But anyway, he's having a bad time of it,
yeah,
unfortunately. Remember when did he win the championship? 76.
yeah. And he didn't
Mm,
do much in '77. The car wasn't as good anymore, and he's
no.
sort of been upper
Yeah.
midfield since.
Yeah. So it was probably
I'm
a
sure
combination.
his motivation is being hit pretty hard right now.
Yeah. Like what we know now, I mean, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but what we know now of
Yeah.
the McLaren team,
Yes.
it's not a good move. But I guess when you're in it and you've won a championship and then you go backwards, you've got
Yeah.
to move. He thought, if I don't move, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So
Because
he moved.
let's face it, he didn't do much in '77 and '78.
No,
So yeah.
no. Yeah.
So anyway, the
Okay.
race day was overcast, windy, and chilly. And the race start was scheduled for 4 p.m., which is a bit of a colder part of the day. So Lafitte did not get off to a good start from pole, and he suffered quite a bit of wheel spin. So it was Depailler who actually took the lead.
But it was Andretti with the best start from the second row who shot past both the Ligiers into the lead. But
Oh,
before
okay.
he reached, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Look at that, the 80. But
Yeah.
before he reached the first corner, his engine cut out on the rev limiter. And while he fumbled to switch it off, the two Ligiers quickly repassed him.
Why?
The rev
Why the rev
limiter must
limiter?
have been a new.
What? I mean, they probably did that to protect the engine, but I didn't know you could turn it on and
Oh,
off like that. You know what I mean?
well, I know. And it must have just been a new feature of that car and he didn't know that it was on or something.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know. It happened, and that's the way it goes.
Mm, yeah.
So Villeneuve, Reutemann, having made a good start from the fourth row, and Scheckter all got past the slow Lotus 80 before it was able to get going again. But now down in sixth place. So poor Andretti. But I wonder,
Yeah.
we don't know if it was a car or
No, we
driver
don't
issue.
know. We don't know if it was car or driver, do we?
There were not too many buttons on the steering wheels back in those days. But the button could have been on the side of the
It
car.
could have. That's right.
Yeah.
It could have been a lever. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Villeneuve was third, right up there with the Ligiers, but his hopes of a third win in a row quickly faded for him as he went round the hairpin. He couldn't select first gear and dropped behind Reutemann.
Then, when trying to get the place back, Villeneuve left his braking really late, locked up his rear wheels and spun wildly in the middle of the track in what I would call a typical Villeneuve move.
I was going to say, that's very typical. He's very mercurial, Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Things can go really, really well for him or really, really badly.
Yeah.
So luckily, everyone behind him was able to avoid the spinning Ferrari, although Peroni in the Tyrrell was badly balked and Jabouillet in the Renault dropped to the back of the field after stalling his engine in the confusion. All right, so Peroni must have slowed down. Jabouillet nearly stalled it because of that, and he ended up at the back of the field.
And poor Jabouillet in that new Renault out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's at the back. I don't know if he's out, but
he stalled his engine.
He's not. He stalled his engine, but he's at the back of the field. Yeah. I don't know. Is he still going? I think he's still going.
We'll see. Villeneuve, on the other hand, recovered quickly enough. Funnily enough, he recovers okay. and funnily enough, he was but it's a fair way back now. He's now in 8th place. But he pressed on as hard as ever until making the exact same mistake at the same spot the very next lap. And that was when he was trying to outbrake PK in the Brabham. So he was still gunning it.
Yeah, I bet his motto is go hard or go home.
Yeah.
He avoided hitting anyone, but it cost him another 5 spots, and he was now 13th behind the Williams pair of Jones and Regazzoni.
I'm waiting for him to have a collision with them next lap, but let's see.
Yeah.
So up front, the two Ligiers had now broken clear of Reutemann's Lotus and were flying with barely a car's length between them, with Depailler leading Lafitte.
Reutemann in the Lotus 79 was 3rd, but was only just keeping the Ferrari of Scheckter behind him. Then came Andretti in 4th, and very close behind him in 5th was Lauda's Brabham.
On lap 16, Lafitte, changing down from 5th gear for one of the corners, selected 2nd instead of 4th and simply blew his engine. That's how easy it was. Such easy human error, you know?
Wow.
This left Depailler to continue on his own with a 15-second advantage over Reutemann. It's a pity about Lafitte. But this comes back to what we talked about, the openness of the drivers in this era.
Yeah, so
Lafitte could have just said, my engine blew. But I don't know, did he say after the race, I went from 4th to 2nd by accident, and I blew my engine. I mean, I think he would have told the truth, and that was acceptable. He
must have. I know. I like it. I like the frankness of this era.
It's nice.
Retirements galore followed, with PK in the Brabham having a fuel unit failure, Jabouillet in the Renault with a broken turbocharger. So he was still going. So he ended up having to retire. Hunt in the Wolf, which hasn't added to his time there, with a boiling brake fluid. And Regazzoni had an engine issue in the Williams.
Lots of retirements. There were also a close call for Andretti towards the end of the race when he was lapping Tombay in the McLaren. Tombay had moved over for Scheckter, but went back to the racing line, not realising that Andretti was so close behind.
The two cars hit, but carried on, although the Lotus had less of a front wing and caused Andretti to lose a place to Lauda.
Then Lauda had to retire with a sick engine, and Scheckter was again in 3rd. But his tyres were wearing fast, and the Lotus, on a lighter fuel load and with some adjustments to the roll bar made by Andretti, was quickly catching the Ferrari.
Can I just say, that's not the first time I read in the, and I think it's later on in the season, that the Lotus drivers could make adjustments to the roll bar from inside the car.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was inside the car or during a pit stop. We haven't heard about a pit stop.
No.
So therefore you're right. It must be inside the car, which is probably a Colin Chapman innovation.
It is. Yeah.
Mm.
Fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
And I don't know what a roll bar is. I'm guessing it's some sort of aero thing. I don't know. But he's made adjustments to the roll bar.
And it made a difference. Yeah.
And it made a difference. Andretti caught and almost passed Scheckter on lap 67, under braking to grab 3rd place, leaving Scheckter to defend against Jarrier's fast-closing Tyrrell.
At the finish, it was an overjoyed Depailler who took the checkered flag to notch up only his 2nd ever career win.
Reutemann in the Lotus 79 was a comfortable second. Then Andretti third. Scheckter and Jarier fourth and fifth, with only 3 seconds between them.
That's the end. Interesting race.
Yep. Interesting race. So we have Villeneuve and Depailler equal first on 20 points. Lafitte and Reutemann equal second on 18 points. And Scheckter, whatever that is, fourth on 16 points. And Ligier have taken over on the Constructors' Championship with 38 points, ahead of Ferrari on 36 and Lotus on 30 points.
Yes, you've got 5 drivers in the top 5 drivers, only 4 points between them. So, and you got Lafitte still on 18 points from those first 2 wins and scoring nothing else.
No,
so
that's right.
It's like it's pretty tight.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to call it there, Louis, and we'll come back for part 4.
Yeah. See you then.
Yeah.
Bye.
Say bye.